Hey there, folks. It's the E-Man here, and it has been quite a while since I've done, I think, a video. It's been a while. So on vacation in another state. Good like 2-day travel. Yeah. Oof. Anyway, I'm here, and I'm able to have a few extra days before I gotta go back to work and whatnot. To normal. I figured I'd do an update video. I've actually recorded a whole bunch of update videos, but now I forget to post them. I am going to post this one, of course, yeah. Just want to make sure if anyone was thinking, I'm still here, still going to be doing videos. I was trying to get back in the swing of things of being at home. Anyway, yeah, and I was able to finally got, got my area all straightened out, so I can now start doing videos again. I'm hoping to do probably some more reviews of some games. I think the game I did a little bit before I left was the Mega Man Unlimited game, which is a fan-made original Mega Man game. It tries, at the very end of it, it does try to connect original Mega Man with the Mega Man X series, I think, in somewhat a way. And, I mean, if anyone's a Mega Man fan, I mean, they're aware that supposedly, supposedly we get to see the prototype of Zero, because, well, as the is that Zero was created by Dr. Wily and whatnot. It's a very cool fan-made game. I would definitely suggest that you go and play it. It's hard as heck, I can tell you. I remember playing it and I'm like, oh, I remember why I hate this game so much. It's tough. It's a really tough game. I mean, you have access to a store and bolts, so you can like buy E-tanks and stuff, but it's still pretty tough. Checkpoints and stuff. I mean, if you thought Mega Man 2 was difficult, I mean, wow. Yeah. And of course, I'm aware that, we're all still kind of going through this, the whole COVID thing. I mean, and other things with issues with voting and, the election coming up. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in 2020. It's just nuts. I had heard a rumor that movie theaters were going to try to open up on Friday with a new, like, Russell Crowe movie. But I don't know. Well, I had heard some rumors that we're going to try to change the 6 feet apart to 16 feet. And I'm like, if they do that, they're just going to have to show. I hope they don't have to show. Unfortunately, that's when people do silly things or foolish stuff and they end up getting, tons of people sick. Yeah. Oh, well, on a good note, I did originally do the work to get a new car, a 2016 Hyundai Sonata Limited. Yeah. The bells and whistles, wow. I mean, well, I guess you'd say it's new to me. It's not exactly new. There's a few wear and tear things on it, but, I mean, it has 130,000 miles on it. 132,000 miles on it. It's a lot of miles, but it has all the bells and whistles, and it's it's a cool car. I mean, I remember today I spent like an hour just figuring out how certain things work on it and certain settings on it. I mean, I guess the way I should sum up how my car is, it's my car has a brain that's very much like a computer or a cell phone's brain. You have to you update it. You can hook it up to Wi-Fi. You know, it has a cool sunroof that goes like the full length of the roof. Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be a very good car. I still have to figure out all, you know, what's going to happen with my older car and more car stuff I got to figure out. But and of course, making car payments, of course. Locked into 4 years of paying for this vehicle, but I think it's going to be great. Yeah. I was having a lot of problems with my iPhone 6S. I guess there was some update must have messed it up or whatever, but I got a new update and it just all of a sudden it's working fine now. I don't understand it, and I'm going to have to try to get a new phone at some point because, I don't know when this phone is going to go haywire again. The next time there's an update, I'm not going to want to update. Yeah. Yeah, and I guess the thing that I was trying to start on some of my videos was I wanted to start trying to do like more modern games than just all these old games, which are relatively easy to play on emulators. Easy to play on emulators and stuff. I don't really have a capture card. It seems like every time I want to try to go buy a capture card, I have some financial snafu or whatever. I really need to get a capture card and start really doing stuff. Now I've heard of people like Pro Jared saying, it was kind of jokingly saying he's not a real gamer. For the most part, sometimes I just during the day I just don't really feel like playing games as much as I used to. I mean, the modern games, it's weird. I could play the older game, they're playing like Super Nintendo games or, NES games or whatever. I could probably play those games for hours, but, I guess I'm burned out of the modern games and whatever. Gaming has been kind of a major part of my early life, I think. But I should better do reviews of a lot older games too, like some NES games. Really be kind of showing my. As I've seen a lot of people a lot of YouTubers, they kind of want to take a break and chill out, which I can understand that. I mean, I usually just spend like an hour doing a video. I can't imagine what, the videos with super duper special effects and all of that must take months to do, and I guess finally they want to have a break. So I guess I kind of had my break, so I'm kind of ready to get back on here. Got a few extra days before I have to go back to work, so I can hopefully try to do some videos. A lot of times I like to try to do videos on games many people haven't heard of, some arcade games that a lot of people aren't really sure that you can actually play them. Yeah, a lot of games, especially old arcade games, you have to play them on, like the emulator to play arcade games. Ironically, the thing is, I think the term ROM referencing a game is kind of started with arcade games, because I think that's kind of a ROM file is kind of how they did, a lot of arcade machines, because a lot of arcade machines could be upgraded into other arcade machines. Like, as I've heard, is that the original Ninja Turtles arcade game was technically built to be, you would be able to upgrade it 2 turtles in time. So a lot of arcade machines were meant to be upgraded into another arcade machine, and I'm assuming it was done with ROMs. Yep. Well, and it's like, retro gaming is cool. I mean, it is cool to have an actual controller and go through the trouble to get the actual console and whatnot. I mean, I have a lot of the original consoles, and I've been able to figure out how to get them, doing RGB on a modern television, so they look not as good as HDMI, but much better than they would have looked on analog. It can be tough on some systems. especially the like yeah, on a lot of systems, especially the N64. You know, a while ago I got one of those, the graphic accelerator thing they were talking about, and I used it with the N64, and I mean, I guess just can't get the N64 looking all that good. Because I actually got Majora's Mask and tried playing it on the original hardware, even though you guys have seen me playing it on the emulator. I go back and forth. Is it better to play on emulator or is it better to play the actual console? For the most part, I think a lot of these emulators, the games look great. Definitely a company I think that maybe you should look at, if you want to get a more modern retro console, is Analog. Analog made the Super NES Analog, and it uses a special chip technology that actually is as close to a Super Nintendo as possible. It defeats all the analog signals and everything. It changes everything completely digital. And it can plug right into HDMI on the television. You can do many different settings with it. The analog consoles are rather expensive. I mean, the one I got was like $200. Yeah, there was a Sega Genesis one they made, and what's cool about it is it can actually link up to the Sega CD. Though, I don't know. I've heard a lot about Sega CDs. I mean, a lot of these old consoles are getting old, but I guess the Sega CDs weren't made particularly very sophisticatedly, so a lot of them break more often than not. And a lot of times with the Sega CD, you have to have a lot of other stuff working in order to have it work. Oh, and I'm sure you guys have noticed I have a beard. So I've been working. I don't have to shave, but whoever's watching this, don't worry. I'm going to make sure I have my face completely shaved off. It's actually a little itchy, a little bit. It was strange when I was, I guess it's okay to say what state I was in. I was kind of visiting the state of Maine, and it was kind of weird. There was 3 days that were like in the 90s and humidity like through the freaking roof. And I'm like, I don't remember being like that when I grew up there. I grew up in Maine. I lived there for 20 years and kind of been to many different states. I haven't really been sitting in one place for a long time. I mean, here in West Virginia is where I've been here the longest out of every other place, like Tennessee, New Hampshire, Yeah. Yeah, I had to help my mom move some stuff to Maine, so we had to drive a U-Haul from here in West Virginia. Well, yeah. Yeah, I do not want to be doing that trip. I've done that trip a couple of times, but I was able to come back in a very nice car, so I guess we'll see. Yeah. Anyway, big beard. I got some little bits of gray hairs there. I guess I'm starting to get to be kind of old, I guess. As you can see, I've had a haircut since the last time I did any videos, and I have hair all over the place. I wonder if I should just start shaving my head because I don't have much hair on top. Got plenty of hair on my face, but no. None on the top of my head. Yeah, I mean, here now, all of a sudden I come back here and it's like 70 degrees and raining. I'm like, wow, why is it? Well, it's like, the weather here is kind of cooling off all of a sudden. Probably just this week is probably going to be like roasting again before you know it. Yeah, because I mean, like living in Maine, I mean, we didn't have central air when I was growing up. Usually put fans in the window. Usually the most it got hot was 80 degrees, and we didn't usually get the humidity that I was dealing with. Of course, in Maine, we have, mosquitoes are rather vicious. There's a certain time at night you get eaten alive. Of course, here in we really barely have any mosquitoes that are flying around. Very few. A lot of times I see once in a time I see one mosquito in the house here one at a time. But in Maine, I would probably see like 5 mosquitoes flying around in my house. Yeah, it's just maybe the climate is starting to change in some places. As I've heard, in California, they have temperatures, upwards of almost 120 degrees or something. Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate those that have subscribed and liked my videos and gave me, some inspiration, and, I'm hopefully gonna try to keep doing this. I'm not doing this for money. I don't think I ever really care if I get monetized, because I'm just kind of doing this for fun, as I've said many times. It's just kind of a fun thing, and sometimes it's cool to just just take a break from doing normal videos and just kind of give an update on what's happening. And of course, I need to be saving up my money to make car payments, so I'm going to be having to roll back spending money on games. But lately there hasn't been much of interest. I really wanted to movie theaters to open back up and have a sense that you can go and, you can go out and go do something, I mean, I don't mind wearing a mask as long as, we can actually go to these places. I can accept that there's some things we got to do. I mean, there is a lot of frustrations I've seen of some people, and I can understand it. It's, and there's people. There's no reason to freak out if someone says it politely to you. People need to, Well, and then I was at Walmart recently, and now I guess people are buying tons of paper towels. There was only 2 things of paper towels left. I got one. There was 2 other left, and it says only 1 per customer. I mean, what toilet paper? I can somewhat understand, but do you think things are ever going to get so bad that we're not going to have toilet paper? People having to buy 1-ply toilet paper, toilet paper that came from other countries or something, because we're so short on it here. I don't understand it. Now, paper towels, I mean, you can use a sponge to clean up a mess. You can use a washcloth or a towel or something. Why are you even going nuts buying paper towels? I know how paper towels can clean up a mess, and then you can throw them away, but I was like, I don't understand why there still seems to be this weird fixation of buying tons of stuff. I mean, how many paper towels do you need? And I got two big rolls in one of those packages. I mean, I can imagine that somebody was going in there buying tons of paper towels. It escapes me. And then, of course, there's other people, that probably really need this stuff, and they're not going to be able to get it because some crazy person decided to go buy all the paper towels. I mean, there's, bleach wipes. There's a lot of things that are still kind of out, and I don't quite get it. I know that this election is going to be very interesting on what happens. Not really going to be political or something, but I am going to express that I'm aware that this election is quite a turning point for many things going on in our country, I think. Whether you like Joe Biden or someone else, I just, the current president, well, he's done some good things. He's super terrible all the time, but I don't, I just feel like And we keep hearing more and more stuff seems to keep coming out about him. And he's just like, oh, well, it's fake news or it's not real. It's unfortunately, I think, yeah, but does anyone really care? I mean, people knew there was weird things about him when they elected him, and whatever. I mean, everyone likes who they like, and whatever. In my opinion, I know I shouldn't be expressing political, but yeah. Well, it's a big turning point in our country. I think this election is going to be very important. In reality, it may not really matter technically who's president or not. It seems like I'm hoping things will perhaps get better. Yes, this year of 2020 has not been very fun. Wow, I can't believe it's August. Almost getting closer and closer to the end of August here. I mean, goodness. Wow. Yeah, and as many people know, I mean, I'm not really sure what's going to happen on Halloween. If there's going to be trick-or-treating or not. A lot of stuff I've heard has almost been canceled until January. But anyway, I mean, I would hope that a lot of people watch my videos and try to kind of forget about all the craziness that seems to be going on in the world. It's interesting to sit back and relax a little bit and kind of see what's going on and have an understanding of things. Anyway, I guess I shouldn't be rambling on too much, but okay, well, yeah. Well, I just want to assure you that the E-Man show is going to be continuing. I may think of trying to make a newer title or something. Recently, I was able to figure out how to do, on my channel, I was able to figure out where to put the videos so they didn't all have to be on the live stream. Like now I have it set up so if you go to my website, these videos are in their own categories and stuff and a little more easier to see. Yeah, I've had some issues with cameras or something with the computer, but I think a lot of those issues have been somewhat fixed. Yeah, I think what I'm going to try to do is probably going to try to record game footage and then kind of talk over that game footage, especially for reviews. I need to have a set thing. If I want to do a review, a main reaction video, a lot of videos, I know they end up being like Let's Plays, but that's usually the best way for me to explain stuff is to actually be sitting there playing. And of course, a lot of my videos I have to do live. Like, I don't usually go back a lot of the ways it's done, especially like when it's done here, it's all live. When you see those recordings, I was, for the time that it was recorded, I was actually sitting there. A lot of these videos are like, a lot of times I just put them right out there and they're out there. I've actually recorded a bunch of videos and I forget to put them on because I want to make sure that I, find artwork for the game so I can, put it on there with the video. I'm thinking of maybe starting a Patreon. Maybe starting a Patreon or something at some point. People donating money, because that would be kind of nice, because then I could save up money and somebody was donating me in some, in a separate bank account, so I don't have to worry about somebody hacking the Patreon or something. Open up another kind of bank account or something somewhere and have the Patreon go into that. And because the Patreon is a service that technically allows your fans to send money and other stuff. A lot of YouTubers are like arguing with people, telling them to stop sending them stuff. It is kind of risky giving us and stuff for them to mail you stuff. I know nowadays a lot of people think a lot of that personal information isn't a big deal, but I think it kind of still is. I kind of would rather people wouldn't know my address, so it's kind of weird that people send me stuff. But I guess Patreon can do that. Maybe you can have like a subsidiary, address so the stuff gets delivered to a P.O. box or something rather than my actual address. I guess I also want to express my kind of condolences to the YouTube community because of Teddy Rubskin's main channel was kind of taken off. He has an archives channel, so you can go and see all of his videos, but his main channel was taken right off, and, well, I guess I kind of like third-party stuff. Something about a Bible man, something he was talking about. He was kind of, an interesting character. One of the many YouTubers that kind of influenced me to try to kind of do this. And a lot of my videos are much like kind of how Teddy's was, because you don't really have the money or the resource, to go and buy all the high-tech stuff that all these other YouTubers have. But he was able to do his videos, and I guess that's what's impressive about his videos. Now I hope maybe he would one day maybe see some of these videos I've done. But I guess I have, the utmost kind of respect for him and what he was able to do. His influences on my, retro game collecting has been very substantial. He was able to introduce me to the Saturn and the backup unlocker. Because I got a Saturn and some games, and then I was looking at games, and I'm like, oh no. Some of the games I really want to play are like $800 or some outrageous amount of money. And I was like, darn, and then I watched his videos. He had the backup unlocker, played burned games on the Saturn. Yeah, of course. Back then, I got them for $50. Now Saturns are like going through the roof because everyone knows how to do that now. Essentially, the backup unlocker is just a cartridge that plugs into the Saturn, and it basically sends a code that says the game can be played. It also allows you to play the games that need the memory expansion to work. Plus, it allows you to play, well, basically, it kind of makes your system region free, too. It allows you to play Japanese games on it, like UK games on it, I guess. Yeah, basically play Japanese games on it. And as many people know, the Saturn library for America was very sparse. There's a lot of great games that were made in Japan on the Saturn. A lot of them are very hard to play if you do not understand Japanese. It was a lot different back then because, a lot of games, especially the Lego games, a lot of modern games, right when the game opens, you can just choose Spanish and choose all the different languages. Remember, they didn't do that many years ago. The Saturn was a direct kind of competition with the PlayStation, but I think that the PlayStation, well, Sega is always interesting, Sega had the utmost time, Sega had a lot of stuff going. For some odd reason, I don't know. Well, and it's ironic that Sega has been, beat over the head by Sony many times. The PS1 sold way better, just blew the Saturn out of the water. Once the PlayStation came out, the Saturn was kind of blown out of the water. The price, better games, just the PlayStation is better. And then ironically, then they made the Dreamcast, and the Dreamcast did very well. I really liked the Dreamcast. It was really cool, the first 132-bit system. But yet again, Sega's great nemesis, Sony, came out of nowhere. Once the PS2 came out, the Dreamcast was freaking toast. It was just toast. The PS2 really blew it away. And the biggest thing for PS2 sales, of course, was that the PS2 could also play DVDs. And at that time, it was kind of unusual for a game system to play DVDs. And plus, then it was kind of the start of the somewhat backwards compatibility stuff. And I mean, yeah, I mean, the PS2 used DVD technology to do the games, so the games were much higher quality. And I think, people found out they could get around the security protections on the Dreamcast. It was just rather sad. And all of a sudden, the Dreamcast is gone. And of course, nowadays we have the powerful three. We have Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony. The weirdest thing was that Sega once had like 70% of the market. And, they did well, but they made some mistakes and they kind of paid for it. Sega still makes games, still makes software, so, they're still there. And there was always all these rumors of Sega's going to try to come back with a console, but I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I've seen all kinds of cool emulators for the Dreamcast, and there's still a lot of great games for the Dreamcast, and as I've said, you can learn games and play them on the Dreamcast. There are rumors that doing that kind of wear down because the laser has to work twice as hard to read the game, supposedly. But whatever. And I've heard about all those SD card replacements for the disk drive. So you can actually replace the disk drive with an SD card reader, and you can basically load ROMs right from that, and you don't have to use the disks anymore. This all digital age. I have an all digital Xbox One. It is a little weird for it not to have a disk drive. I mean, I understand. Pretty much computers. Computers are pretty much all digital now anyway. Computers don't even have disk drives anymore. Computers have evolved to a point where they don't really need a disk drive anymore. There was a time when computers didn't have disk drives when they first came out, and then they have them, and now they're pretty much, it's kind of an unusual thing for there to be a disk drive on a computer. When you buy computer games nowadays, you usually are just buying a box and a code. You then have to go online, and you have to have online connection and go on and download the game, and technically it's digital. You just have a license to be able to download the game, and I understand it. But I think that, video games still think have to evolve a little bit more before an all digital market is substantiated. I've not experienced this myself, but I've heard rumors that some people's licenses for downloaded games have been disappearing from their account, or some hackers or something is doing that. And I can tell you I would be very unhappy, with how expensive a lot of these games are. And a lot of times you're paying top dollar for these, even if they're digital. And boy, would I be unhappy if all of a sudden I can't play it because some glitch erased it, or some hacker got into the PlayStation Network and did this. And of course, we are in the twilight of the PS4, the Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. We're kind of in the twilight of the console generation. A new generation is supposedly going to be starting here come the holidays. But I don't know. Things are going to be interesting this holiday, I think. Especially if there's people there. There might still be people out of work still. COVID stuff it's going to have lasting impact on a lot of stuff. Yeah, this holiday season, I may not have much money to really do with, because I've heard that the, supposedly second stimulus is supposedly not going to happen. I guess I guess I need, we all need to a responsibility to go to work and make money and stuff. I wish I could probably just sit on YouTube and do this for a living, but I think as much like one of those YouTubers expressed, eventually you get so tired of doing it, you want to take a break and you feel like you got to explain things. I guess I should have explained that I kind of wanted to, take a break from doing videos, so I'm not going to go nuts doing videos, You can get kind of a little bit tiresome to sit here at the computer and talk all night, but anyway, I'm sorry I got kind of sidetracked. But anyway, I guess the E-Man Show, my channel is going to be here as long as it possibly can. I've tried to do things. We're trying to get Twitch working. I guess YouTube is still a better place for people that just want to do videos for fun and don't really care monetizing. I understand other YouTubers, they have to start, advertising certain products. There's certain things they have to do to make money too. And it's like, I understand that, but it is a little bit crazy. A lot of YouTubers and whatnot. I'm not sure what exact games I want to talk about, but I should probably think about doing a video much like my Rugrats video where I try to do multiple games at one time. That is kind of a challenge to do. People like the AVG, the Angry Video Game Nerd. I am pretty impressed when he does videos where he does multiple games. That's a challenging thing to do. I've discussed with some of his videos more recently, and I understand that there's a lot of things that bother him about this modern age where a lot of this technology is cool, but maybe we didn't need it, or maybe it's just crazy that we embrace a lot of technologies and don't really think about how cruddy it is, how kind of weird the technology is, and sometimes you shouldn't completely depend on it, that it's not like perfect technology. Well, having my newer car, having a 2016 car with all that technology, there's a lot of technology in that. It's just incredible. When they say up top about people being distracted using the screen in their car, I was like, oh, whatever. I don't quite get that. But then when I actually have a car that has a screen on it, I was like, when I first got the car, I had to keep telling myself I need to drive, not the screen. And, there's like a disclaimer that comes on the screen. You have to hit confirm. Wow, it's quite impressive, the technology that's been put into a lot of cars to make them safer, like collision detection, backup cameras, all kinds of stuff. Well, I pretty much had dinner, so I'm just kind of hanging around, I guess. But anyway, there are probably going to be loads more videos. Not really sure about how to do movies. Not really sure how to get kind of the rights to be able to talk about movies. I know I'm usually I could be the Dark Crystal dude that constantly talks about things. Maybe I should make a separate channel that's called the Dark Crystal Dude, because that's all I talked about. And I watched the Dark Crystal miniseries tons of times. I don't know when the second season's coming out. I just don't know. And with the COVID stuff, it's kind of unknown what gets delayed and what happens. It's kind of unusual sometimes how things seem to happen. This COVID stuff has really, changed a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that may never really be the same. But anyway, I hope all of you stay safe out there. When you go to a store and they say a mask is required, wear a mask. I know it stinks. It's just, I know it stinks. It's hot out. It's kind of a pain in the butt. On my trip, it was very annoying about COVID stuff. It's just crazy. But, you need to wash your hands, sanitizing stuff. You need to really be aware of that, especially if you're using your cell phone a lot, probably get that. Just lightly wipe some sanitizer on your phone a little bit, try to clean it and sterilize it a little bit, because that phone's up against your face all the time. And wash your hands, sanitize, and just basically wear your mask and follow the guidelines that you need to be following, because that is important so that we can hopefully get things kind of opening up again and to keep things from getting shut down again. And whatever. I'm not going to express my political opinions. I'm sure a lot of people that know me are aware of that. But all right, I just want to kind of focus on some positives here and just, remind people that there's a lot of, there's fun stuff to do, and try to relax a little bit and not be so stressed out about what's going on when you go out the door of your house. Anyway, I'll see you folks around, and I hope maybe I can get a few more subscribers. That might be nice, but it's kind of the way it is. Okay, this is the E-Man signing off. All of you guys stay safe out there. Follow guidelines like I said before, and make sure you follow the guidelines in your state, and keep and hopefully we can get through this kind of tough part in our country's history. I guess I should also note that today, when I'm doing this video, it's the 100th anniversary of the a woman's right to vote. Yes, it was a very tough. Supposedly, it took almost 70 years for women to finally get, in 1920, to be able to finally get the women's suffrage, the 19th Amendment to be passed so that women could vote. I think it's very interesting, this election, there seemed to be a lot of talk about, there's certain people that have fought for the right for African Americans to vote, for women to vote. It seems this is going to be a very interesting election where, there's all kinds of controversy about how voting is and what's going on with it, people getting suppressed to vote. Personally, the right to vote is a very important right. A lot of people aren't able to do it in other countries. It's a right that people need to be done. As much as I would like to try to say whatever, but our sitting president's rhetoric about, I don't like it. Why is he president? Why is he president if he does not trust the system? He doesn't trust this system to be fair and impartial and whatever. It's just maddening to me. And that's the one thing that just ticks me off about him. It's like, I don't know what whatever. I just, no politics. I better shut this down. Okay, I guess there's not much more to say. I'm just going to sign off right here. Stay safe, folks, and stay safe, and hopefully I'm going to be putting out some more videos for you guys to watch, and hopefully like and make comments on. Catch you guys later. Catch you folks later. Bye.